You have to work with other people. And sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes they are in your face. God, I'm talking to myself too. But you still have to work with that person. So you have to lean over the shoulder and see what the result is that you want. You have to be the adult and you have to let it go, because I can't run a race carrying your bags, my bags, and everybody else's bags.
I'm Dr. Kathy Martin, and I am living proof that LaSharon Combs, Coach Shay, and UCDI leadership processes and strategic avenues work.
Heidi ho, y'all. How you doing? This is Sharon. It is the 24th of February, and I just wanted to come for a moment, maybe about 15 minutes, if that. But I want to talk about alignment, what alignment really looks like. Over the past few months, we've been doing this alignment series. We started, not past few, we just started in January. So this will be our third session this upcoming weekend. And it's one weekend a month, but it actually looks at alignment in all of the aspects, kind of like the reset, but drill down a little more. And I was looking at some stuff, man, and I was spending some time in prayer today. Y'all better get this work. And I just kept thinking about how joy comes in the morning. And I really start researching joy. And I start researching mourning from Psalms like 30. I think it's verse 5. But I was doing a deeper dive in that thing. And it really does help when we are in alignment, period. Guys, we always want to do our best to be in alignment. And when I say in alignment, I mean, it really works about being, you know what, I'm just going to put it like this. I'm just going to talk about it. So alignment, right? When we're actually talking about alignment, I think about cars when they're getting aligned. And if you're driving a car, you know, you got to work. You have to put in a little extra effort and strength to keep things in the lane or going in the way they're supposed to go when you need an alignment. You know, it keeps you from having excessive drift, so to speak. But that also works professionally in your business, in your relationships. Oh my God. In your relationships. Same thing with your back. You know, you're like, man, I'm off. Something ain't right. You have to go get an alignment. So when we really look at alignment, I don't want us to just be on like the Pinterest. I'm trying to get aligned because it's a buzzword. No, you want to be aligned because that alignment affects every part of your life. And, you know, as you get older, sometimes you're like, man, if I knew this then, but I know it now. And that alignment helps. And I think about areas in my life, times in my life, where there's a very visible difference between when I'm in alignment and in alignment with the Most High, in alignment with core values, and when I'm over here on the sideline doing something because either A, I let somebody talk me into it, or B, I wasn't strong enough, I didn't have enough wherewithal in myself to just say, hey, no, I don't want to do that. Some of y'all might be like, you didn't have a problem saying no? Yeah, nobody wants to be rejected. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes you have to grow into that space where you're like, no, that's not for me. And a lot of times you get that because you know without a shadow of a doubt, you've been out of alignment enough. And so now over the past years, one of the questions I always ask is it congruent? Or if someone's doing something that's not congruent, I'll be like, well, that's not really congruent. You know, you're not even working on what you're working toward. And you're doing something, even though you said you wanted to do something different, but you're moving away from what it is that you want to work toward. So I'm going to try to slow down and say this, not with just me, like talking to y'all, hey girl, hey, but I hope that this lands. I hope that you'll share this video with somebody that you know, not someone that you don't, because we're coming up on, it's almost March. And a lot of things were said at the top of the year. This is why we started the reset program, why I started doing it myself. And then when I opened it up to others, you know, that thing's been going on over a decade now. And it has changed people's lives real time, including mine. And so when I'm talking about alignment, I want you to know that alignment is congruent. Like you want things to be incongruent, if that's the right way to say it, incongruent. Not incongruent, but in alignment. You want congruence to take place. And that means what you say, what you do, and what you value actually show up the same when you're in alignment. What you say, what you do, what you value, what you promote, all of those things show up the same as the alignment that you confess and profess. Right now, even in our country, there's a lot of animosity and polarization because what people are saying and what people are doing are not in alignment. Now, I don't think you have to be perfect, and I think you can be multidimensional. You know, I'm gonna dance to a song, I'm gonna laugh at somebody, I'm gonna do all of those things because I'm all of those people. But my core, Jesus loves folks. That's my core. Uh, be truthful. I don't think you have to be perfect, but you know, be truthful. Do not try to bring harm or danger toward other people. Like those are things that come from my core. And since those come from my core, most of the actions and activities that I have are going to be in alignment with that. All right. And if it's not, then it's going to get in alignment. So that's what I wanted to share that. What you do, what you say, and what you value, all of those things are the same. And if they're not, then you're going to be drifting somewhere. Um, it's like being out to sea, but you don't have an anchor down, and you take a nap and you wake up and you're how many degrees, you know, you in a whole nother longitude, latitude type area because you've drifted. And you want to be able to control your drift. You want to be able to navigate and circumvent drift, and you want to stay in alignment. When you're out of alignment, just so y'all know, if somebody is out of alignment, hey, thanks whoever is watching, guys. I see you guys out there. Feel free to leave a comment. I would love to see your comment. But when you're out of alignment, it's going to create friction. Dang, here we go. I'm going to jump in because I said no more than 15 minutes. When you're out of alignment, it will create friction. It'll create friction within you, and that friction within you will begin to create friction with other people. Just picture people who, like, when they're in pain or they're irritated or they're burnt out, you're not going to have the same capacity. And so it's going to create friction. Friction shows up as irritation you can't explain. Somebody just walk by you and you be like, ugh, because you're out of alignment. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody is telling a story and you're irritated, like your nose kind of turns up. These are things, this is how friction will manifest, period. Fatigue. Oh my God. When I'm out of alignment, and I'm not just talking physically, I mean, like in my life, like I can sleep for hours, but I'm still exhausted because I don't have rest. And again, I subscribe to biblical principles. Get to know the rest that is in Christ Jesus, not about being perfect. I'm not even trying to tell you to go to a church or anything like that. If I'm the bridge that causes you to begin to read the word, then okay, I'm with it. My job is done in that aspect. The word can do what the word needs to do after that. But so when you're out of alignment, you're going to have the friction. You're going to have success that doesn't satisfy. It's never enough. It's never enough. It's like when when I used to work with children, there was something called Prader-Willi. And it meant no matter how much it was a diagnosis, no matter how much they ate, they were never full. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's never enough. It's never enough. There's no peace. You're always driven because it's never enough, because you're out of alignment. You're out of alignment. And so that's why once a month, you know, we look at it. We pray, we do training and prayer and training and leadership. But the most important thing is we're seeing where are we out of alignment, and we get in alignment. So success won't satisfy. Opportunities will feel heavy instead of like expansive. All of that is misalignment. And misalignment is costly. It's costly. You spend a lot of time thinking about coulda, shoulda, wouldas, or wondering if something's missing because the alignment isn't there. But once you are in alignment, let me tell you, you're able to move. It doesn't mean you never have adversity. It doesn't mean life doesn't get, demanding at times. But it does mean that when you go to sleep, you can wake up refreshed and not exhausted. It does mean that you don't have to always be fatigued. It does mean that you don't have to be irritated for nothing. For nothing. You know, if you notice that somebody's like, hi, and you already saw me 4 times today, and you're irritated that they spoke to you, you want to look at that. That could be something that's out of alignment. Small things begin to set you off. Misalignment is costly. So I already talked about the car being like, when you need an alignment, so you're not drifting off the road, going to the side, and not having to use all your energy or your car shaking because your stuff isn't aligned. Unable to move, the mobility of your body is not the same because you need an alignment there. Like you can still drive when your car is out of alignment, but it takes a whole lot of effort. It's uncomfortable, and you're always waiting. The longer you're out of alignment, you know your stuff gonna break down. So you driving with increased anxiety and tension there. So it still drives, and you'll be like, well, it still drive. Okay, I don't really think we should drive things until the wheels fall off. Maybe do some preventative maintenance, before you have to. Do it when you need to do it, not just when you have to do it. Uh, so if you don't want to be fighting the wheel, you guys know I have a podcast called Be the Clay. Don't be fighting your potter. I don't judge people who fight the potter, but I can say when you're fighting the potter, when you are fighting against the person who made you, listen, it's going to cost you. It's going to be exhausting. All right. So let me get on like that. Alignment reduces what they call drag. When people have race cars, it makes them go slow. Alignment reduces all of that. What else do I want to say right quick? I'm at 11 minutes. I have about 4 minutes left. And leadership, this is what alignment means. Your decisions will reflect your stated priorities. Your calendar will match what it is you're doing. It'll match your purpose. It'll match your calling. Your revenue model doesn't contradict your values. Listen, I'll be like, ooh, I used to wake up, even as a teenager, how can I get some money? How can I get $1? Later in life, I realized like if I'm always chasing a bag, it's something else that I'm not chasing. And the bag doesn't fulfill. It fulfilled at first. It's like when you get your first new car. But after you make enough car payments, you're like, man, I want my car to last. Most people, as you grow. And so those are things that tells like where you are. If your values and your revenue model are not conducive, then they're not in alignment. If you say family first, but you never have time for your family, that's misalignment. If you say people first, but you don't really care about people, that's misalignment. If you preach clarity, but you always scattered, you're always all over the place, that is misalignment. Alignment is integrity in motion. If you say you value health, but you never work out and all you eat are sweets and carbs, no veggies, that is misalignment. And so in business and in leadership, you want to know what alignment means. You want to solve the problem. Your offer should solve a problem, not create more. That actually may go against a lot of business models now in Western America, but you want your business model to solve what you say it solves. Don't create 2 or 3 more just so that you can have business. If you are a mechanic, I would call you a shade tree mechanic because, yeah, you fixed my tires, but you broke the alternator. All right, yes, you did the alternator, but you switched out the battery. And that's your way to keep recurring revenue coming towards you. That's misalignment. That's not integrity. And it's almost highway robbery. It'll show up at some point in your life. Trust me. You want to be sure that your partnerships don't dilute your direction. If you are in alignment, you want to be in alignment with your partners as well. So when you decide who to partner up with, make sure they share some of the values that you share, period. Especially if you're in a service-based and mission-based business where you want to see lives transformed, communities transformed. When you want to see something outside of your pocketbook and just you transformed, you have to make partnerships and collaborate with people that share similar values. They need to be able to speak the truth to you in love, and you should be able to speak the truth to them in love too. You can make money when you're not in alignment. I don't want to tell you that you can't. You can make money when you're not in alignment. But that money is probably the money is probably going to go and be spent trying to find alignment. Like you may make a bag and get a grip when you are out of alignment, but then you're going to end up spending that money trying to fill those empty spaces and those aches and those holes in your soul. You're going to try to buy your way into alignment, and you really can't do that. There's no peace there. So in identity, when you are looking at your identity, make sure your private convictions line up with the public message. Make sure your faith or your philosophy of life and your profession, when you shake hands with people, make sure that, how do I say this in the best way? When you shake my hand and then you shake the hand of the person next to me, Although we may get different versions of you, it's still, you want it to be you. And it should line up with your core values, who you are there. All right, so I just hit 15 minutes. And again, the reason we're going over some of this, and I'm sharing it now and I'm about to hang up, is I wanted to ask you, what if you said yes out of alignment instead of out of fear? Fear that you wouldn't have enough, fear of what people would think, fear that something may not work out. What if you just said yes toward the alignment? You know, like for me, in March, I'll do a 30-day sprint where it's all, if it doesn't line up, it's a solid no. And that sounds simple, right? But that can be hard. Just like fasting. The moment you decide to fast, somebody's going to call and offer you free food. The moment I start this 30-day sprint, I'm probably going to see all kind of great investment opportunities and, you know, things that would distract. But here's the deal. Destruction, steal, kill, destroy, all that. Distract means that you lose traction. When you're out of alignment or you're distracted, you're losing traction. You're losing traction. You may make progress, but you may make progress in another lane where you have drifted, and that's not even what you are working on. You don't even want to actually see it come to fruition. It was just something designed to take up your time. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Please think about alignment, your personal alignment, your financial alignment, emotional alignment, relational alignment, leadership alignment, business alignment, definitely spiritual alignment. And ask yourself, you know, when I'm looking at alignment, instead of saying, am I aligned on the whole? Look at every area so that you can get the adjustment where you need to get the adjustment, That's pretty much all I got for y'all today. If you're interested in joining us for our alignment series, it is the last weekend of every month. It's 1 weekend a month. That's all we ask you for. It's about 2 to 3 hours on that Friday evening. We go over training skills. We train in prayer on that Saturday morning. Same thing, 2 to 3 hours where we are looking at leadership. Because no matter what field you're in, whether you're an industry voice or faith-based entrepreneur or just an entrepreneur who wants to know more about leadership, these things help us know each and every month we have a checklist. Each and every month we're checking in. It's not only online, there's follow-up with it to be sure that we're in alignment. I believe 2026 will be an amazing year. 2027 will double down on that. And it won't be because I'm watching the Epstein files or I'm watching the politics or I'm fussing with my neighbor because I don't believe that I am considered in their worldview, and they may not believe that they're considered in my worldview. It won't be because of those things that distract or derail or dismiss. It will be because we are focused on alignment, and we are focused on alignment in my spirit with it being based in faith. I subscribe to biblical principles, Jesus Christ, all of that, yes. And so I am excited about 2026 and 2027. Not the excitement is like, woohoo, excited, like a football game. It's a calm, focused excitement because I know that as long as I'm in alignment and obedient, no matter what comes my way, I'm good. Y'all be safe. God bless. Thanks for joining me here on this Tuesday evening. Again, if you're interested in it, just put alignment. You can put alignment or you can put yes in the comments, and I'll circle back on Thursday of this week. And if you have that yes there, I probably will send you something, a message or an email. A message because it's social. I'll send you a message asking for your email, and I'll send you the link. There's no cost for these alignment series at all. It's just service. The greatest one of us will be like the person who serves. And I'm loving this servant era. Y'all be safe and God bless. I will talk with you soon.
You have to work with other people, and sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes they are in your face. God, I'm talking to myself too. But you still have to work with that person, so you have to lean over the shoulder and see what the result is that you want. You have to be the adult, and you have to let it go, because I can't run a race carrying your bags, my bags, and everybody else's bags.
I'm Dr. Kathy Martin, and I am living proof that LaSharon Combs, Coach Shay, and UCDI leadership processes and strategic avenues work.